Hey there! Tonight we journey to a different time and a different world. We leave behind the histories of stone castles and steel swords to travel to the heart of a continent, to the sprawling, muddy and magnificent river valleys of North America nearly 1,000 years ago. We are going to live for a time within a Native American clan of the Mississippian culture. Forget the idea of scattered, primitive tribes. We are stepping into a civilization of cities, of agriculture on a massive scale, dominated by great earthen pyramids that rival those of Egypt in sheer volume. This was a world of profound spirituality, complex social structures, and an intimate, demanding relationship with the great river that gave it life. This is not a story of great chiefs and their conquests. It is a story of the quiet, rhythmic, and deeply meaningful tasks that made up a life. It's about the feeling of cool river water on a humid morning, the endless, grinding sound of corn meeting stone, the sight of 1,000 cooking fires lighting up the twilight, and the smell of wood smoke and damp earth. It's about understanding a world where your identity was tied not to your individual ambition, but to your family, your clan, and your place in the life of the town. If this kind of slow, detailed, and contemplative history helps you to quiet your mind and find some rest, I would be grateful if you would like the video and subscribe to the channel, but only if these stories genuinely bring you a measure of peace. And as always, I love seeing our community of listeners. Please, feel free to leave a comment and let me know where you're listening from and what time it is in your part of the world. There's a unique comfort in knowing we are all settling in together. So, dim your lights, turn on a fan for that soft, ambient hum if you find it soothing. Get comfortable, and let's step through a doorway in time, into the heart of a river valley, and into a life governed by the seasons, the soil, and the spirits of the earth. Dawn doesn't so much arrive as it seeps in. There's no sudden blast of light, just a slow, grudging surrender of the dark. The first thing you're aware of isn't a sight but a sound, the impossibly ancient chorus of frogs and insects along the riverbank, a sound that has been the world's morning alarm for millennia. It's a damp sound, a green sound. Through the woven reed walls of your house, the air carries the smell of the river itself, mud, decaying leaves, and the cool, clean scent of moving water. You lie still on your sleeping mat, which is woven from river cane and padded with a layer of dried grass and soft furs. It's not uncomfortable, but your body, after a lifetime of sleeping this way, has a deep, intimate relationship with the hard-packed earth beneath. You can feel the coolness of it through the mat, a constant reminder of the ground you belong to. You are not floating above the world on a mattress. You are part of it. And your back has some very strong opinions about this relationship every single morning. You don't move, not yet. This is a moment of pure potential, the only truly private moment you will have all day. The world outside the thin walls of your home is a world of clan, of community, of constant, unblinking observation. But in here, in the pre-dawn grey, you are just a collection of aches and the fading echo of a dream. Maybe the dream was about a hawk, or a fish with shining scales, or the unsettling feeling of running through a forest that had no end. You let it dissolve like mist on the water. Analyzing it is a task for later, if at all. Such things are currency, but you don't spend them carelessly. The house is built of wooden poles bent into a rectangular frame, with walls of woven cane mats plastered with a thick layer of clay and dried grass, a technique called wattle and daub. The roof is thatched, thick and heavy. It's a dark, smoky, earthy space. You share it with your extended family. Your mother, your aunts, your sisters, their children. The men often sleep in separate, more communal structures, but here, in the heart of the clan, is the domain of the matrilineal line. This house, this land, this identity, it passes through your mother, to you, to your children. You are a link in a chain that stretches back farther than the oldest tree. No pressure. A soft shuffling sound tells you that one of your aunts is already awake, the matriarch. She moves with a quiet economy of motion, a woman who has not wasted a single gesture in 50 years. You hear the gentle clink of pottery as she uncovers the embers in the central hearth. A thin curl of smoke, smelling of hickory and yesterday's dinner, begins its slow journey up towards the smoke hole in the roof. You are not the star of today's performance. You are not even a supporting character. You are part of the ensemble cast, a crucial but ultimately anonymous face in the crowd scene that is daily life. Your role is not to stand out, but to fit in, to know your place, your tasks, your duties, and to perform them with a quiet competence that draws no undue attention. Glory is for the Sun Chief, the warriors, the great mound builders. Your glory is in the harvest, in a perfectly formed pot, in a healthy child, in the silent, shared understanding with the women around you. You swing your legs off the mat. The packed earth floor is cold against your bare feet. You stretch, a slow, deliberate unfolding of your limbs, feeling the familiar symphony of clicks and pops in your joints. Your hair, long and black, is a heavy weight on your back. You glance at your sleeping family, a jumble of limbs and blankets in the dim light. A cousin mumbles in her sleep. A baby sighs. This is the entire world. And as the first true ray of sunlight finds the smoke hole and spears the darkness, you take a quiet breath and think the universal mantra of everyone, everywhere, since the beginning of time. Well, here we go. Now that you're vertical and pretending your neck hasn't been permanently molded into a new shape by a lump in your grass mattress, it's time for the morning's first ritual. It's not about beauty in the way you might think. There's no powder, no paint, not for a regular day. That's for ceremony. This ritual is about rejoining the world of the living, and it starts with the river. You pick up a small, undecorated clay pot and step out of the doorway. The air hits you with the full force of a Mississippi morning, thick, humid, and alive. The village is nestled in the floodplain, a sprawling collection of houses like yours, arranged in a way that seems random, but is dictated by centuries of tradition and kinship. In the center of the village looms the reason for its existence, the mounds. They are massive, flat-topped pyramids of earth, built by hand, basketful by basketful, over generations. They dominate the skyline, dark green shapes against the pale morning sky. On the highest, most central mound sits the home of the great sun, the chief of chiefs, a man considered to be a living god. Other mounds hold the homes of lesser nobles, priests, and the charnel houses of the elite. They are stairs to the heavens, tangible proof of your people's power and devotion. You, however, live down here on the flat earth, in their shadow. You don't resent this. It's the order of things, as natural as the river rising in the spring. You walk towards the river, your bare feet making soft imprints in the dark, damp soil. Others are moving too, quiet figures in the mist. There are no paved streets, just well-worn paths winding between the houses and garden plots. The air smells of wood smoke now, 100 hearths waking up at once. You nod to a cousin, a silent greeting. Words are unnecessary this early. Everyone is on the same mission. The riverbank is a hub of quiet activity. This is your bathroom, your water source, your laundry. You find a familiar spot, slightly downstream from where water for cooking will be collected. You wade into the shallows. The water is shockingly cold, a jolt that shakes the last remnants of sleep from your bones. It's the color of tea, full of silt and secrets. You wash your face, splashing the water over your arms and legs. It's a functional cleansing, not a luxurious one. There's no soap, just the abrasive power of sand scooped from the riverbed to scrub your skin. You look at your reflection, a blurry, distorted version of your face rippling on the brown water. You see a face that is strong, with high cheekbones and dark eyes. It's the face of your mother, and her mother before her. It's a face that knows the sun, the wind, and the exact moment a maize stalk is ready for harvest. It is not the face of an enigma, it is the face of a worker. You fill your pot with water for the household, choosing a spot where the current runs a little clearer. Then you wade back to the bank, your deerskin skirt clinging to your wet legs. The whole process is done with an unthinking efficiency. This is not a time for contemplation, it is a time for doing. You are one of dozens of women performing the exact same ritual. It is a shared, silent dance that has greeted the sun for as long as anyone can remember. There is no privacy, but there is also no shame. This is life, stripped to its essentials. And as you start the walk back to your smoky, familiar house, the heavy pot balanced on your hip, you are fully awake and ready. The day has begun, and it already has a list of demands. Back in the wattle and daub house, the day's first major task is underway, preparing the morning meal. And that means one thing above all else: corn. Or more accurately, maize. Your entire world is built on it. It's not just food. It's the calendar, the economy, the reason you live in this sprawling town and not in a small nomadic band. It's the sacred crop, a gift from the spirits that requires constant, back-breaking gratitude. Your job right now is to turn the hard, dried kernels into something edible. You retrieve a metate, a large saddle-shaped stone, and a smaller loaf-shaped stone called a mano. This is your food processor, your blender, your everything. You kneel on the packed earth floor, a position you will hold for what feels like an eternity, and pour a measure of dried maize from a woven basket onto the metate. Then the work begins. You grip the mano with both hands and begin to grind, pushing and pulling the smaller stone across the larger one. The sound fills the small house, a gritty, rhythmic, scraping sound. Scrur, rape, scrur, rape, scrur, rape. It's the soundtrack of your life. Your shoulders and back protest immediately. This is not gentle work. It's a full-body workout that has sculpted the muscles of every woman in your clan. You lean into it, your body moving in a practiced rhythm that is as ingrained as breathing. The goal is to crush the kernels into a coarse meal. It's slow, tedious work. The maize is stubborn, resistant. You have to put your weight into it, your focus narrowed down to the tiny incremental progress you're making. A fine, pale dust fills the air around you, coating your hands and arms. You breathe it in. Everything in your life, it seems, tastes faintly of corn. Around you, other women are engaged in similar tasks. An aunt is skillfully cracking hickory nuts with a stone, her movements precise and economical. Another is tending the fire, adding small pieces of wood to coax the embers into a steady, low flame. A pot of water, the water you just carried from the river, is set near the fire to warm. The air in the house grows thick with the smell of smoke, nuts, and the dry, dusty scent of grinding corn. You don't talk much. The work is too demanding for casual conversation, but the silence is not empty. It's a shared silence, full of understanding. A grunt from your aunt means the fire is too high. A sigh from your cousin kneeling beside you means her back hurts too. It's a language of shared labor, more intimate than words. After what feels like a lifetime, but is probably less than an hour, you have a small mound of coarse cornmeal. It's not the fine powder you'd want for a special occasion, but for the morning meal, it's enough. You scrape it carefully into a shallow pottery bowl. The next step is to make it into a simple porridge or a flatbread. Today, it's porridge. Your mother takes the bowl and slowly stirs the meal into the pot of hot water, adding a pinch of ash from the fire. The ash is alkaline, a trick discovered centuries ago. It does something magical to the corn, releasing its nutrients, making it more digestible, and preventing the sickness that plagues those who rely on corn without this ancient wisdom. It's chemistry, passed down as tradition. You don't know why it works, you just know that it does. The great-grandmothers knew, and that is enough. The porridge bubbles away, thickening into a greyish, unappetizing-looking gruel. A handful of the cracked hickory nuts and some dried berries are stirred in for flavour and richness. This is breakfast. It's not exciting, it's not meant to be, it's fuel. It's the energy you will need to spend the next 8 hours bent over in the fields under the hot sun. You are all served in small, simple clay bowls. You eat with your fingers or with a spoon carved from mussel shell. You eat quickly, silently. There's no ceremony to this meal. It's a practical necessity. The porridge is gritty, but warm and filling. The nuts provide a welcome crunch, the berries a faint ghost of summer sweetness. You eat every last bit, scraping the bowl clean. Waste is not a concept your culture can afford. As you finish, the sun is higher in the sky. The day is already growing warm. The brief, cool respite of the morning is over. Now, the real work begins. You rinse your bowl, set it aside, and get ready to head out to the fields. Breakfast is complete. It wasn't satisfying in a joyful sense, but it was necessary. And in your world, the necessary is everything. Now that you've been fueled by what is essentially a bowl of hot, gritty determination, it's time to head to the farm. And by farm, we don't mean a quaint little garden next to your house. We mean the vast, sprawling fields that carpet the floodplain, the lifeblood of your entire society. This is the engine that powers the mound builders, that feeds the priests, that allows the great sun to be, well, great. And you are a humble, vital cog in that engine. You gather your tools. There's no beast of burden, no plough. The technology here is you. Your primary tool is a simple hoe, but not the metal kind you might picture. This one is a large, sharp-edged mussel shell or the shoulder blade of a deer, painstakingly hafted to a long wooden handle. It's surprisingly effective but requires you to bend at the waist, a posture you will maintain for most of the day. You walk with your mother, your aunts, your sisters, your cousins, the women of your clan. Agriculture is largely women's work. The men are responsible for hunting, fishing, warfare, and the heavy labor of clearing new fields, but the day-to-day cultivation, the planting, the weeding, the harvesting that is your domain. This field belongs to your clan, your matriline. You know every dip and rise in the land, the spot where the drainage is poor, the place where the sun hits first. The field is a testament to agricultural genius. It's not neat rows of a single crop. It's a chaotic, brilliant jumble known as the Three Sisters. Corn, beans, and squash, planted together in a perfect symbiosis. The tall, sturdy corn stalks provide a natural trellis for the bean vines to climb. The beans, in turn, fix nitrogen in the soil, enriching it for the other plants. And the broad, sprawling leaves of the squash create a living mulch, shading the ground, preserving moisture, and choking out the weeds. It's a self-sustaining system, a masterpiece of ecological engineering. Your job today, weeding, it never ends. The rich river soil that is so good for your crops is also a paradise for every unwanted plant in the valley. You find your section, and you begin. You bend, your back parallel to the earth, and you chop with your shell hoe. Chop, chop, chop. The sound is dull, rhythmic. It joins the sound of dozens of other hoes, a percussive chorus of labor under the rising sun. The sun is relentless. There is no shade in the open field. It beats down on your back, on your neck. You wear a simple deerskin skirt, nothing more. Your skin, dark from a lifetime of this work, tans even darker. Sweat drips from your brow, tracing paths through the dust on your face. It stings your eyes. You don't complain. You don't even notice it much. It's just the way things are. The work is mind-numbingly repetitive. It's a form of meditation, almost. Your mind goes blank, focusing only on the next weed, the next patch of earth. Your body moves on autopilot, a machine perfected for this single task. Bend, chop, step, bend, chop, step. Hours pass. The sun crawls towards its peak. This is where the social part of the day really begins, not in words, but in proximity. You are working alongside everyone. You can see how fast your younger cousin works, her movements still slightly clumsy. You can see the steady, unwavering rhythm of your mother, a rhythm you try to emulate. You can see who is flagging in the heat, who is taking too many water breaks. Nothing is said, but everything is noted. It's a silent accounting of contribution, of worth. Occasionally, a story is told, shouted down the row. A bit of gossip is exchanged. An elder woman might start a song, a simple, rhythmic chant to keep the work moving. Your voices join in, a little breathless, but unified. It makes the work lighter, for a moment. It reminds you that you are not alone in your toil. You are one body, one clan, turning this mud into life. You see a rival clan working a few fields over. You don't interact, but you watch them out of the corner of your eye. You note the height of their corn. Is it as tall as yours? Are their squash plants as broad? It's a silent, constant competition, a matter of clan pride. A good harvest means not just survival, but status. It means you have the favor of the spirits. It means you are doing things the right way. You straighten up for a moment to stretch your protesting back, placing your hands on your hips. You look out over the sea of green. The corn stalks are taller than you are now, a dense, rustling forest. In the distance, the great mounds of the central plaza shimmer in the heat, symbols of the power this very work makes possible. You are feeding a chief you will likely never speak to. You are building a society with every weed you pull. You feel a dull ache in your lower back and a profound, unspoken sense of purpose. You take a drink of warm water from a gourd, wipe the sweat from your eyes, and bend back to the earth. The day is only half over. The sun has reached its highest point, a merciless white disk in a hazy sky. The air is thick enough to drink, shimmering with heat above the fields. A collective, unspoken signal passes through the women. It's time for the midday break. The work doesn't stop entirely, but it shifts its rhythm. You don't leave the fields that would be a waste of time and energy, but you seek out what little shade you can find at the edge of the cultivated land, under the dappled light of the trees that line a nearby creek. You collapse onto the ground, not gracefully, but with the heavy, boneless gratitude of someone whose muscles have been screaming for this exact moment. The relief is so profound it's almost dizzying. You sit with your back against a rough-barked hickory tree, the chorus of shell hose replaced by the chirring of cicadas, a sound that is the very definition of oppressive summer heat. This is when the second meal of the day happens. It's not a formal affair. There's no hearth, no shared pot. This is pre-packed lunch, Mississippian style. You unwrap a piece of cornbread from a pouch at your waist. It's not the soft, sweet bread you might imagine. It's dense, dry and sturdy, made from cornmeal and water, maybe with some mashed beans or nuts mixed in. It's designed for durability, not flavor. It's a brick of fuel. You chew it slowly, methodically. Your jaw aches from the effort. You wash it down with more warm water from your gourd. This is the time for talk. The physical labor is paused, so the social labor begins. The women of your clan gather in small groups, their voices low and conspiratorial after the shouted communication of the fields. The topics are a familiar litany. The squash in the lower field looks thin, your aunt observes, her eyes narrowed. This is not a simple agricultural report. Translation. The family group responsible for that section isn't pulling their weight, and we all know it. Did you see the new shell gorget that the son's daughter was wearing at the last ceremony? Your cousin asks, her voice full of feigned innocence. Translation. The elite are displaying their wealth again, a wealth built on the sweat of our backs. And isn't it just a little bit ostentatious? Someone complains about the deer flies, which have been particularly vicious. Someone else shares a remedy for aching backs made from a specific root. It's a blend of practical advice, veiled critique, and the simple human need to connect and complain. This is how the social fabric is maintained and policed. Reputations are built and tarnished in these brief, shady interludes. You learn who is reliable, who is a gossip, who holds a grudge, and who is generous. You mostly listen, nodding along. You're too tired for complex social maneuvering. You offer a small observation about the bean vines near your row. It's a safe, neutral topic. You are practicing the art of being present but not prominent. It's a vital survival skill. Drawing too much attention, whether through laziness or exceptional skill, can be dangerous. The goal is to be a good, solid, unremarkable part of the whole. You watch the men and boys returning from the river, their fishing nets slung over their shoulders. You can tell by their posture if the catch was good. Today, it seems average. They will spend their afternoon mending nets, sharpening spear points, or working on their own projects. Their world and yours run on parallel tracks, intersecting at meals and in the evenings, but largely separate during the working day. The break doesn't last long. Just enough time to eat, drink, and let the worst of the ache subside in your muscles. The sun is still high and hot, but the day is passing. Soon, the elder woman of your group claps her hands. It's not a harsh sound, just a signal. Time to go back. A collective groan, some of it playful, some of it deeply sincere, ripples through the group. You pull yourself to your feet, your body protesting the movement. You grab your hoe. The thought of bending over again is physically painful. But you do it. Everyone does. You walk back out into the blistering sun, back to your row, back to the endless weeds. The afternoon looks exactly like the morning. It's a mirror image of toil. And as you raise your hoe, you know that this repetition, this sameness, is the rhythm that holds your world together. As the afternoon sun begins its slow descent, casting long shadows across the fields, the signal is finally given to end the day's agricultural labor. Your back feels like a single, solid block of fused bone and muscle. Relief washes over you, so potent it's a physical sensation. But the day's work is not over. It merely changes venue and form. You trudge back from the fields, your hoe over your shoulder, in the long, silent procession of your clan's women. You return not to rest, but to the second shift. Craft work. This is the time for making the essential items of daily life. Every woman is a specialist in something, skills passed down from mother to daughter. Some are weavers, others are potters, others are skilled at preparing animal hides. Your family's specialty, your specialty, is pottery. You find your familiar spot in the shaded area behind your house. Here, the earth is pocked with pits and tools of the trade. Your materials are waiting. A large lump of grey, sticky clay dug from a secret spot along a creek bed, and a bowl of water filled with crushed, burned mussel shells. This is the temper, the magic ingredient that will keep your pots from cracking when they are fired. You take a large piece of clay and begin to knead it, pushing the heels of your hands into the cool, damp earth flesh. You work the crushed shell into it, feeling the sharp grit mix with the smooth clay. This part is crucial. Too little temper, and the pot explodes in the fire. Too much, and the walls will be weak. You know the right ratio, not by measurement, but by feel. It's a knowledge that lives in your fingertips. Once the clay is prepared, you begin to build. You don't use a potter's wheel. You use the coil method, a technique as old as pottery itself. You roll a piece of clay between your palms, forming a long, even rope. Then you take a small, flat disc of clay as your base and begin to lay the coil on top of it, pinching and smoothing it as you go, building the wall of the pot upwards, layer by layer. It's another form of rhythmic, repetitive work, but it's different from the fields. It's creative. It's focused. Your world shrinks to the circle of grey clay growing under your hands. Your touch must be firm but gentle. You coax the shape into existence, a round-bellied cooking pot, a water jug with a narrow neck, or a simple bowl for eating. Your mother works beside you, her hands moving with an effortless grace that you still aspire to. She is making a large storage jar, her movements swift and certain. She glances at your work occasionally. Your walls are a little thin at the base, she might say, her voice neutral. This is not just a critique of your pottery skills. Translation: pay attention to the fundamentals. A weak foundation will ruin everything, in pottery and in life. Don't get lazy. You nod, accepting the criticism without argument. You reinforce the base, smoothing another thin coil of clay around it. You are not just making a pot, you are participating in a tradition. You are learning a language of form and function. This is also a time for more intimate conversation than the midday break allowed. The work is absorbing, but it doesn't prevent talking. Here, in the small circle of your family's crafters, the day's observations are processed. The wife of the man from the Sky Clan was wearing her hair in the old style today. Your aunt might mention as she scrapes a hide with a flint tool. The implication is clear. The Sky Clan is either falling out of fashion or, more likely, making a statement about their traditionalist values. It's a political move, announced with hairstyle. You learn about a dispute between two families over a patch of land. You hear who is being courted, who is with child, who received a gift from a visiting trader from a distant town. This is the news of your world, and it is delivered here, over the slow creation of essential things. You are making the fabric of your society, both literally and figuratively. You decide to decorate your pot. Using a small, carved wooden paddle, you gently tap the outside of the pot, leaving a repeating, geometric pattern. It's a simple design, one used by your family for generations. It's your signature. It marks the pot as yours, as belonging to your clan. Someday, 1,000 years from now, a fragment of this pot might be the only thing left of you, and an archaeologist will look at this simple stamped design and call it unidentified Mississippian incised ware. But to you, it is a mark of home. As the light begins to fade, you line up your finished pots in a safe place to dry. They are still fragile, vulnerable. They are not yet complete. They need to go through the fire, the final transformative trial that will turn them from mere clay into useful, durable vessels. It's a good metaphor for many things. You clean the clay from your hands and arms. The work of the day is done. The sun has nearly set. Your muscles ache with a deep, profound weariness, but you feel a quiet satisfaction. You have spent your day in service to your clan. You have helped to grow the food. You have helped to create the tools for living. You have earned your place by the fire. And now, it is time for the evening meal. The village transforms as twilight settles. The harsh, working light of the sun is replaced by the soft, dancing glow of 100 fires. Smoke hangs in the air, thick with the smell of roasting meat, fish, and corn. The sounds change, too. The rhythmic scrape of hoes and the quiet focus of crafting give way to the murmur of voices, the laughter of children, and the distant, rhythmic beat of a drum from the direction of the main plaza. The day's labor is done. The day's social life is about to begin. You gather with your extended family for the main meal. This is a more significant event than the hurried, functional meals that bookended the workday. This is a time for the clan to come together, to share the bounty of their collective efforts. The men have returned with fish from the river, or perhaps a turkey or deer from the forest. The women have prepared the harvest from the fields. It all comes together in the central cooking pot, a bubbling, savory stew that represents the union of all their work. Tonight, it's a thick stew of corn, beans, and squash, the ever-present Three Sisters butt enriched with chunks of fish caught this afternoon and flavored with wild onions and herbs. The smell is intoxicating after a long day of hunger and toil. You sit in your designated place in the circle around the fire. Seating is not random. It reflects status, age, and relationship. The elders are given the place of honor. The children squirm at the edges. You are somewhere in the middle, a recognized adult worker, with a place that is earned and respected, if not prominent. The stew is ladled into your personal bowl, the one you ate from this morning. You wait until the elders have begun to eat before you take your first bite. Etiquette is paramount. To eat before your elders would be a profound sign of disrespect, an act of social suicide. The food is delicious. The fish is flaky and savory, the vegetables soft and satisfying. It's a meal that tastes of the earth and the river, a direct communion with the world that sustains you. You eat slowly, savoring it. Unlike the morning meal, this is not just about fuel, it's about community. It's a celebration of survival, of another successful day. The conversation flows more freely now. The men recount the day's hunt or fishing expedition. It's not just a story, it's a report on the health of the forest and river, information vital to everyone's survival. They might discuss the tracks of a panther seen near the outer fields, a warning for everyone to be cautious. The women discuss the progress of the crops, the state of their craft work. But the talk is also more personal. Jokes are told, stories are shared. Your uncle, a renowned storyteller, might begin a tale of the trickster rabbit, his voice rising and falling in the firelight, his hands shaping the story in the air. You've heard the story a dozen times, but you listen intently, laughing at the familiar parts, absorbing the moral hidden within the humor. These stories are your history, your religion, your law, all woven into entertainment. You observe the subtle interactions, the way a young man looks at a young woman from another clan, a glance full of unspoken intention, the way your aunt offers a particularly good piece of fish to your grandmother, a gesture of respect and care. You see the complex web of relationships played out in these small, seemingly insignificant gestures. This is the glue that holds your society together. It's a world of unwritten rules and unspoken understandings, and your survival depends on your ability to read them correctly. A crier from the chief's mound might walk through the village, his voice calling out a proclamation. Perhaps there is to be a special ceremony tomorrow. Perhaps a neighboring chief is coming to visit. Perhaps the great sun requires a tribute of fine pottery for an upcoming feast. Your mother tenses slightly at this last announcement. Her pottery is known to be among the finest. A request from the chief is an honor, but it is also a demand. It means extra work, pressure to create something flawless, something worthy of a god. She says nothing, but you see the look she exchanges with your aunt. The look says, "There goes our one day of rest." But it also says, "Our work is being recognized." It is a mixture of burden and pride that you understand perfectly. After the meal is finished and the stories are told, the gathering begins to break up. The children are sleepy. The adults are weary from the long day. The fire is banked for the night. You take your bowl to be cleaned, a final small chore, in a day full of them. The moon is high now, a silver sliver in the dark sky. The stars are brilliant, unobscured by any competing light. You look up at the vast, silent cosmos. Then you look at the great mound, a black shape against the stars, a man-made mountain connecting your world to that one. You feel very small, a single person in a vast and mysterious universe. But you also feel connected, a part of the family, the clan, the town, the earth. You are not alone. You turn and head back into the smoky warmth of your house, ready for the deep, dreamless sleep of the truly exhausted. Sleep doesn't always come easily, even to the bone-weary. Tonight, the air is still and heavy, and the usual chorus of the night seems muffled. There's a tension in the village, a low hum of anticipation. The crier's announcement of a special ceremony hangs in the air. It wasn't a summons for you, not personally, but in a way, it was a summons for everyone. It means a break in the routine, a day where the sacred calendar overshadows the agricultural one. And it means preparation. You lie on your mat, but your mind is not quiet. You hear the whispers of your mother and aunt by the low-glowing embers of the hearth. They are not talking about you, but their words are a map of the social landscape you must navigate tomorrow. The priests will want the black burnished ware, your mother says. her voice low. The kind with the sun, circle motif. This is a specific type of pottery, difficult to make. It requires a special firing technique, smothering the fire at the end to create a smoky atmosphere that turns the clay a deep, polished black. It's reserved for ritual. The wife of the sub-chief from the Panther clan will be there, your aunt replies. She will be watching. Remember the last time? She claimed our polishing was uneven. Translation. A powerful rival will be scrutinizing our work for any flaw to exploit for her own clan's social gain. We must be perfect. This is not about worship. It is about politics. You close your eyes, feigning sleep, but you absorb every word. This is how you learn. Not through direct instruction, but through osmosis. Through listening to the strategic conversations of your elders. You are learning that a pot is never just a pot. It is a statement, a weapon, a prayer, a political alliance. The sounds from the village are different tonight too. The usual quiet is punctuated by activity. You can hear the distant, rhythmic pounding from the men's lodge, where they are likely repairing the ceremonial drums or preparing the sacred regalia. You hear a group of young men practicing a chant, their voices rising and falling in a pattern that sends a shiver down your spine. It's a sound of power, of the spirit world drawing near. You think about your own preparations. You will need to wear your finer skirt, the one with the porcupine quills embroidered at the hem. You will need to wash your hair thoroughly in the morning and comb it with the good comb carved from bone. There will be paint, red and white clay, ground into a fine powder and mixed with bear grease. The patterns are not a matter of personal choice. They are dictated by tradition, by your clan, by your status. The design you wear will announce to everyone, instantly, who you are and where you belong in the great cosmic order. To wear the wrong pattern would be a scandal of unimaginable proportions. This is the part of your life that is both terrifying and exhilarating. The daily toil is predictable, safe, but ceremony is a performance on the grandest stage. Your every move will be watched, not just by your neighbors and rivals, but by the ancestors, by the spirits, by the gods themselves. A misstep in the fields means a few lost weeds. A misstep in a ceremony could bring disaster upon your clan, a failed harvest, a sickness, a lost battle. The stakes are infinitely higher. You imagine standing in the great plaza at the foot of the chief's mound, the sun beating down, the air thick with incense, the smoke of sacred herbs, the sound of the drums and shell rattles filling your entire body, the sight of the priests and the great sun himself, adorned in feathers, copper and shells, looking more like gods than men. You will be one face in a massive crowd, but you must be a perfect face, a worthy face. You feel a knot of anxiety tighten in your stomach. Will your pot be good enough? Will you apply the paint correctly? Will you remember the right responses in the chants? Will you trip? The thought is mortifying. You, a clumsy footnote in a sacred epic. But beneath the anxiety, there is also a thrill. This is what it's all about. This is the meaning. The endless days of work in the fields, the tedious hours grinding corn, the patient crafting of pots, it all leads to this. It is the moment where your small, individual life connects with the great, eternal story of your people. You are not just a laborer, you are a participant in the cosmos. You push the thoughts away. Worrying will not help. You focus on the rhythm of your own breathing, the feel of the fur blanket against your skin. You let the low murmur of your mother's and aunt's voices become a soothing, familiar hum. They are worried too, but they are also capable. They are strong, and you are their daughter. You are a link in that chain. You will do what needs to be done. You will make the pot. You will wear the paint. You will find your place in the crowd. You will be one small, perfect part of the great whole. And as you finally drift into a shallow, restless sleep, your dreams are not of hawks or fish, but of the rhythmic, hypnotic beat of a ceremonial drum. The morning of the ceremony arrives with a palpable charge in the air. There's a different quality to the light, or maybe you're just projecting. The usual slow, sleepy start to the day is replaced by a quiet, focused urgency. Today, the work is not in the fields. It is on yourselves. The ritual bath in the river is more deliberate. You scrub your skin more thoroughly, taking care to wash your long hair until it squeaks. The water is still cold, but today the shock feels purifying, a necessary cleansing before entering the realm of the sacred. When you return to the house, the atmosphere is that of a backstage dressing room before a major performance. The special pottery, the black burnished ware your mother spoke of, is carefully wrapped in furs, ready to be presented as your clan's offering. Your mother inspects each piece one last time, her face a mask of concentration. A single, almost invisible crack is discovered in one of the bowls, a collective, sharp intake of breath. The bowl is set aside. It cannot be offered. It is imperfect. The failure stings, a small blow to the clan's pride before the day has even truly begun. Then comes the paint. Your mother and aunt are the artists. You sit still, a living canvas, as they apply the sacred designs. They use small brushes made from animal hair and sticks with frayed ends. The paint, a mixture of clay and grease, is cool and thick against your skin. A white hand and eye symbol is painted on your shoulder, a protective emblem of your clan. Red parallel lines are drawn on your cheeks, precise and unwavering. You do not speak. You barely breathe. Your job is to be still, to be a worthy vessel for the symbols you will carry. You look at your reflection in a bowl of still water. The person staring back is not the girl who toils in the fields. It is someone else, someone older, more serious, a part of the mystery. The paint is a mask, but it is also a revelation, showing not your individual personality, but your spiritual identity. Once painted, you dress in your finest. The deerskin skirt is softer, more supple, decorated with intricate patterns of shells and dyed porcupine quills that rattle softly when you move. You wear a necklace of polished shell beads, cool against your collarbone. Every item has been saved for an occasion like this. To wear it on a normal day would be unthinkable, a vulgar display. Today, it is required. When everyone is ready, you step out of the house. The entire village has been transformed. Everyone is adorned, painted, moving with a new gravitas. It's as if you are all playing a part you were born for, but only get to perform a few times a year. You walk with your family toward the central plaza, carrying your clan's offering of pottery. The plaza is a vast, open space, meticulously swept clean. It is framed by the great mounds, which seem even larger and more imposing today. Thousands of people are gathering, arranging themselves by clan and lineage. The air is electric, humming with the contained energy of the crowd. You find your designated spot. The sun is hot, but no one seems to notice. The air is thick with the scent of burning cedar and tobacco, a sacred incense that tickles your nostrils and makes your eyes water. The low, steady beat of the drums begins, a heartbeat for the entire community. It gets inside your chest, matching the rhythm of your own pulse until you can't tell the difference between them. Then they appear. At the top of the great temple mound, the priests emerge, their bodies painted in elaborate, terrifying patterns. They wear headdresses of feathers that shimmer in the sunlight. Following them is the great sun himself. He is a dazzling sight, covered in copper ornaments that glitter like gold, wearing a cape of woven feathers, and a headdress so large it seems impossible. He seems to radiate light, power. He is not a man, he is a piece of the sun, brought down to earth. A hush falls over the crowd. The drumming intensifies. The priests begin a low, resonant chant, their voices carrying across the plaza. It's a language you only partially understand, an ancient, ritual tongue, but you know what it means. It is an invocation, a calling to the spirits of the sky, the earth, and the underworld. You stand perfectly still, your eyes fixed on the figures at the top of the mound. You are part of the audience, but you are also part of the ceremony. Your focused attention, your belief, your worthiness, this is your contribution. You are the vessel into which the power of the ceremony is poured. The ritual unfolds over hours. There are dances, the dancers moving in hypnotic, symbolic patterns. There are offerings, clan after clan presenting their tribute of food, hides, and crafts. When it is your clan's turn, your mother and aunts walk forward with the black pottery. You watch with a mixture of terror and pride as the priests accept the offering, holding it up for the crowd to see. It is deemed worthy. A wave of relief so powerful, it makes you feel weak, washes over you. Your clan has done its part. There are speeches, pronouncements from the great sun, his voice booming and otherworldly. He speaks of the harvest, of the gods, of the power of your people. You don't just listen to the words, you feel them as a physical force. This is not entertainment, It is a complex, necessary transaction with the forces that govern your world. You are renewing your covenant with the spirits, ensuring the sun will continue to rise, the rains will come, and the corn will grow. You are reinforcing the social order, reminding everyone of their place, from the lowest commoner to the great sun himself. You are becoming one people, one mind, one soul, bound together by shared ritual and belief. As the ceremony reaches its climax, the drumming becomes a frantic, deafening roar. The chanting is a wall of sound. You feel completely outside of yourself, lost in the sensory overload. You are no longer an individual with an aching back and worries about pottery. You are simply a part of the Mississippian people, a single cell in a great body, vibrating with sacred power. And in this moment of self-annihilation, you feel a sense of belonging so profound it is indistinguishable from joy. Then, as slowly as it began, it ends. The drumming subsides. The great sun and his priests retreat into the temple. The sacred spell is broken. The crowd begins to stir, the communal trance dissolving back into thousands of individual minds. You stand blinking in the harsh afternoon light, feeling dazed, drained, and strangely peaceful. The paint on your skin feels tight. Your fancy skirt feels heavy. You are you again. But something has been reset. The world has been put back in its proper order. You walk back to your home, the chatter of the crowd slowly rising around you. The talk is already turning to more mundane things, the quality of the offerings, the heat of the day. But for a few hours, you were all something more. You were citizens of the cosmos. And that feeling, that memory, is what will sustain you through the long, hard, ordinary days to come. The day after the ceremony is a strange, muted affair. It feels like the world is hung over. The spiritual electricity that crackled in the air is gone, leaving behind a quiet exhaustion and a village coated in a thin layer of post-ritual melancholy. No one is up at dawn. The collective unspoken agreement is to allow a slow start, a gentle re-entry into the mundane. When you do emerge from the house, the village looks normal again. The plaza, yesterday, a stage for the gods, is now just a vast, empty expanse of dirt. A few dogs sniff around for scraps. The mounds seem less like stairways to heaven, and more like big hills of earth. The magic has receded. The first task is to deconstruct the ceremony. The paint on your skin, which yesterday felt sacred, now feels like a crusty, greasy film. You go to the river, but this time the cleansing is not about purification, it's about returning to your baseline self. You scrub your face and shoulders with sand, watching the red and white clay dissolve in the brown water, the sacred symbols of your clan washing away into the Mississippi. You are no longer a vessel for the spirits. You are just you, with your tired muscles and your slightly sunburned nose. Back at the house, the fine skirts are carefully cleaned and put away. The shell necklaces are wrapped in soft leather and stored. To wear them now would feel foolish, like dressing for a party that ended hours ago. The house is put back in order. The failed pottery bowl, the one with the hairline crack, is now just a piece of broken clay. Your mother unceremoniously crushes it, and the pieces will be ground down to be used as temper in a future pot. Failure is recycled. Nothing is wasted. This is the day for analysis, the social post-mortem. As you engage in light tasks mending a basket, sorting beans, the conversation begins. It is the real news report of the ceremony. The Panther clan's offering was small this year. Your aunt notes, her voice casual, too casual. Translation: their last harvest must have been poor, or perhaps their hunters are failing. Their influence is waning. This is important strategic information. The younger daughter of the sun seemed distracted. Your cousin adds, weaving a new mat. She was fanning herself the entire time. Translation: she lacks the stoicism and gravitas required of her station. A weakness in the ruling family. A juicy piece of gossip that humanizes the godlike figures from yesterday. Your mother might comment on the pottery from a rival clan. Their black burnish was very deep, but the forms were traditional, unimaginative. Translation: they have technical skill, but they lack artistry or innovation. They are competent, but not a threat to our reputation as the best artisans. You listen to all of this, filing it away. This is how you learn to see the world beyond the surface. You learn that a ceremony is not just a religious event, it is a census, an economic report, a political convention, and a fashion show all rolled into one. You learn to read the subtle signals of power, influence, and decline. There is a feeling of letdown. Yesterday, you were part of something immense, something eternal. Today, you are back to the reality of aching backs and the endless, repetitive tasks of survival. The corn still needs to be weeded. The river still needs to be fished. Life goes on, indifferent to the spiritual heights you reached just hours before. This is the cycle of your life. Long periods of mundane labor, punctuated by brief, intense moments of sacred communion. One cannot exist without the other. The work gives the ceremony its meaning, its relief. The ceremony gives the work its purpose, its cosmic context. To live only in the world of the sacred would be impossible. To live only in the world of the mundane would be unbearable. You exist in the rhythm between the two. You might feel a new sense of pride in your work. The pot you make today might not be for the gods, but you saw with your own eyes how a simple clay vessel can be a clan's statement of worth. There is a new weight to your hands as you work the clay. It's no longer just a chore. It's an art form with real-world consequences. By the end of the day, the rhythm of normal life has reasserted itself. The talk turns from the ceremony to the weather, to the state of the crops. The evening meal is the simple stew of every day, not the feast of a celebration. As you lie on your mat that night, the memory of the drums is already fading. It feels more like a dream than a real event. Was that really you, standing painted in the plaza? It seems a world away. You are back in your own skin, in your own small life. And there is a strange comfort in it. The ceremony was exhilarating, but it was also stressful. The mundane is exhausting, but it is also safe. You have returned. You have survived the notice of the gods for another season. And as you fall into a deep, truly restful sleep, you dream of nothing at all, which, after all the excitement, is its own kind of blessing. Weeks pass. Then months. The season turns. The blistering heat of summer slowly gives way to the golden, hazy days of early autumn. The air grows crisper in the mornings. The work in the fields reaches its frantic, joyous peak. It is the time of the harvest. All other activities cease. Every able-bodied person in the village is in the fields from sunup to sundown. This is the culmination of the entire year's labor, the moment of truth. A good harvest means a winter of plenty, of security. A bad harvest means hunger, weakness, and vulnerability. The work is relentless but joyful. You move through the rows of corn, now dry and rustling, snapping the heavy ears from the stalks. The husks are rough against your hands. You toss the ears into large woven baskets that the young men carry back to the village. The beans are plucked from their dried vines, the heavy squash and pumpkins cut from their stems. The fields that you so painstakingly tended are now systematically dismantled, their bounty brought within the village walls. The atmosphere is one of collective relief and celebration. There are songs, jokes, and laughter. The work is hard, but it is satisfying in a way that weeding never was. This is the payoff. Every drop of sweat, every aching muscle, has led to this abundance. In the evenings, the work continues. The entire village becomes a massive food processing center. Great piles of corn are stacked in the open spaces between houses. Your family, like every other, gathers around a fire, and the shucking begins. You pull the dry, papery husks from the ears of corn, your hands moving automatically. The pile of golden ears grows beside you. This is a time of immense social activity. It's the most relaxed and communal time of the year. With the food physically present, the deep-seated anxiety of survival recedes. People are generous, optimistic. Stories are told. Young men and women flirt more openly than at any other time of year. Marriages are often arranged during the easy intimacy of the harvest. You sit with your cousins, your fingers flying, shucking ear after ear. You gossip, you laugh. You watch a young man from a neighboring clan who has been making eye contact with you for weeks. He's known as a good hunter, and his family's field did well this year. Your aunt notices you watching him, and you see a small, knowing smile on her face. She doesn't say anything, but the look is clear. Translation: he would be a good match. He is a provider. This is a possibility worth considering. You blush and focus fiercely on your work, but your heart beats a little faster. Once the corn is shucked, it must be preserved. Some is stored on the cob, in specially constructed, well-ventilated corn cribs. But most of it is shelled, the kernels scraped from the coband, then dried completely over slow-burning fires or on racks in the sun. This is the grain that will feed you through the long, cold, dormant months of winter. The dried kernels are stored in large, sealed pottery jars or in deep pits lined with grass and clay. The entire process is a village-wide, synchronized effort. It is a perfect illustration of your society, a complex, cooperative endeavor built on tradition and the contributions of every single person. But even in this time of bounty, the social order is clear. A portion of every clan's harvest, the best portion, is set aside. This is the tribute for the great sun and the elite who live on the mounds. It is their right as the political and spiritual leaders who ensure the cosmos remains in balance. You don't question it. You carry your clan's tribute to the central storehouses yourself. It is an honor to provide for the chief, a confirmation of your clan's productivity and loyalty. Seeing the massive storehouses filled to the brim gives you a sense of collective security. The God King is provided for. Therefore, the people will be safe. When the last of the harvest is stored, a great feast is held. This is different from the formal, rigid ceremonies. This is a true celebration. The entire village eats together, a massive potluck of the best foods. There is venison stew, roasted turkey, fish baked in clay, endless preparations of corn, beans, and squash. There is music, dancing, and games. You dance with the other women, your feet pounding the earth in a rhythmic, joyful circle. You feel free, unburdened. The hard work is done. The future for now is secure. You eat until you are full, a rare and wonderful sensation. You laugh, your voice joining the happy cacophony of the feast. This is the reward. This is why you toil. It's for this feeling of communal joy, of shared success, of a full belly and a light heart. It's for the security of seeing the food stores full, a bulwark against the coming cold. As the night wears on and the fires burn low, you look around at your world. Your family, your clan, your village, all safe, all fed. The great mounds are dark silhouettes against a starry sky, silent guardians watching over you. You feel a deep, abiding sense of peace. The year has been good. The spirits have been kind. Your work has been blessed. And for now, in this perfect autumn moment, all is right in the world. Eventually, the paint comes off for good. Not the ceremonial clay you wear for a day, but the performance of your youth, the posture of a young woman striving to find her place. Years pass. The seasons turn, each one a bead on a long string. The harvest feast of your youth becomes a memory, then a story you tell your own children as you shuck corn by the fire. You are no longer the young woman learning her craft. You are the matriarch. You are the one whose hands move with effortless grace, shaping the clay with a knowledge that is no longer learned but simply is. You are the one who says, your walls are a little thin at the base, and your voice carries the weight of 100 successful firings and a dozen heartbreaking cracks. You've played every part, the curious girl listening to the whispers of the elders, the strong-backed woman in the fields, her hoe rising and falling in the sun, the skilled artisan, her hands covered in clay, the young mother, her heart tight with worry for a sick child, the respected elder, whose opinion is sought on matters of planting and politics. You've seen chiefs come and go. You've seen the great mounds grow, basketful by basketful of earth, as new layers are added for the funeral of a great leader. You've seen alliances shift like the currents in the river. You've seen the Panther clan's influence wane and the Sky clan's rise. You've watched it all from your spot on the ground, your hands always busy, your eyes always open. And what do you have to show for it? Not a room full of copper and shells, not a place on top of a mound. You have a family, a lineage that passes through you. You have calloused hands that can create beauty and utility from mud. You have a knowledge of the earth, the sky, and the human heart that cannot be written down. You have the respect of your clan, an authority that was not given to you by a chief, but earned through a lifetime of competence, wisdom, and endurance. You no longer feel the sting of anxiety before a ceremony. You feel a calm sense of purpose. Your role is not to impress, but to guide. You are the one who paints the faces of the young women now, your touch steady as you impart the ancient symbols. You know that the true ceremony is not the one in the plaza, but the one that happens every day, the ritual of work, of family, of keeping the world going. Sometimes you sit by the river, not to work, but just to watch. You see the young girls, their backs straight, their faces full of the same mix of hope and fear you once felt. You see them watching the young men, you see them competing in the fields, You see them learning the silent language of social survival. You don't interfere. This is their story to live, just as you lived yours. You smile. Not a warm smile, not a cruel one, just a knowing one, because you've played the game. You've lived by the rhythm of the seasons and the strict rules of your society. You have bent your back to the earth, and in return the earth has sustained you. You are still here, still strong, still a vital part of the whole. What remains when the youthful ambition fades, when the daily dramas lose their urgency? A deep, quiet strength. A sense of belonging that is as solid and real as the earth beneath your feet. You are a root in the great tree of your people. And in a world of constant change, of seasons and floods, and the shifting fortunes of clans, that is the most powerful thing a person can be. You are not a god on a mound. You are the earth that holds the mound up. And you know, with a certainty that needs no validation, that is more than enough.